What's up folks, welcome back to another episode of Mr. Hines Classics channel. I've got a fun video for you today where I'm going to be taking on a Cyclops using Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I'll explain who the Cyclopes were, that's the plural of Cyclops, and a little bit about the mythology that surrounds them, all the while trying to do my best to survive as I encounter one of them. If you enjoy this video, please do consider giving it a like and subscribe, it really does help the channel grow. Let's dive straight into it. So we have one of the Cyclopes down in this arena below known as Cyclopes. As I get into the fight, we'll be able to take a closer look at him, and I'll discuss who he and the other Cyclopes were, what they looked like, and where they lived. Right, so as we're on a new game plus here, I'm pretty sure that Cyclopes is going to be quite a formidable enemy to face. My approach is going to be to try and keep hitting him in the eye with my bow and arrow, and that does seem to be quite a key vulnerability as he's already covering it over with his arm, as we can see. Oh, and he's coming out swinging with that club already, so I'll have to do my best to dodge around that. Okay, and yeah, he's using this club as a shockwave attack as well, so I'm going to have to keep diving around the arena. Kind of feels like I'm taking on the fire giant a little bit in Elden Ring. Right, so as I'm getting up close here, I'll try and explain a little bit about who the Cyclopes were. As many of you will know, a Cyclops is a mythological creature, a giant with a single eye. In fact, the Greek word Cyclops literally means circle eye or round eye. We can identify three distinctive groups of Cyclopes in ancient Greek mythology. The first group appears in the Theogony written by Hesiod, a poet writing between the 8th to 7th century BCE. In this creation story of the gods, the Cyclopes are three one-eyed giant brothers. There's Brontes, Steropes, who I'm fighting here, and Arges. These were the sons of Uranos, the titan of the sky, and Gaia, the titaness of the earth. These Cyclopes are best known for crafting Zeus's thunderbolts after he frees them from imprisonment by their father Uranos. Their names reflect their association with storms and their task as Zeus's smiths. Brontes means thunder, Steropes, lightning, and Arges means bright. It does seem that if you hit him enough in the eye, he does sort of go down a little bit and then you can use your ability attacks. Yeah, and that R1, R2 attack does take off a nice bit of health, so I'll carry on with that approach. The Cyclopes didn't stop with crafting thunderbolts though. These master craftsmen were also credited with forging other divine weapons, like Poseidon's trident for example, and Hades' cap of invisibility. These were all crucial tools in helping the Olympian deities overthrow the Titans. Now the second group of Cyclopes appear in Homer's Odyssey, and this was written about the same time as Hesiod's Theogony. This version is quite different though. Odysseus encounters the Cyclops Polyphemus, a savage one-eyed giant and son of Poseidon, and this takes place on the coast of Sicily. Unlike Hesiod's divine smiths, Homer's Cyclopes are portrayed as uncivilized shepherds, who live in caves, have no laws, and show no respect for the gods. Polyphemus famously violates Xenia, the sacred code of hospitality, by attempting to eat Odysseus and his crew. Finally, the third group isn't tied to a particular myth, but rather to ancient architecture. See, the term Cyclopean was used by later Greeks to describe the massive stone walls at places like Mycenae, Tiryns, and Argos. These were structures that were so impressive that people believed that only giants like the Cyclopes could have built them. It's the ancient Greek version of our aliens built the pyramids. So it does seem now that I've got Steropes down to pretty much half health, and here we go, he's doing some sort of rage attack now. I wonder if this means he's going to be more formidable and perhaps have a different moveset, so we'll have to keep our eyes peeled for that. But while I'm trying to take him on now, I'll talk a little bit about what the Cyclopes look like. So the Cyclopes have a pretty distinctive appearance. This Roman bust from the Colosseum, for instance, shows a figure with eyes shut and a single central eye in the middle of the forehead. But where did this iconic image come from? Well, one theory suggests that the myth may have originated from the discovery of dwarf elephant skulls by ancient Greeks, particularly in coastal caves around Italy and Greece. These skulls have a large nasal cavity, which is meant for the trunk, but this could have easily been mistaken for a single giant eye socket. Not everyone agrees with this theory, but it's an intriguing possibility. Another explanation points to the rare birth defect known as cyclopia, in which a fetus develops a single eye. However, in these cases, the eye is usually located beneath the nose, which doesn't quite match the traditional image of the Cyclops. Personally, I think the elephant skull theory seems pretty plausible, but let me know what you think down in the comments. Visually, Cyclopes are generally portrayed in a consistent way, though there are some variations across different classical sources. Assassin's Creed Odyssey sticks to the classic design, one big central eye and a towering frame. But the behaviour of Strops here seems more reminiscent of Polyphemus, who's quite aggressive and brutal and obviously showing no sort of hospitality whatsoever. I'm playing around with the different arrows now that we can use. I'm wondering if like fire might sort of do a little bit more build up damage and make him a bit easier to take down, because he certainly seems more aggressive in this phase as his health bar gets lower. So ancient authors often place Cyclopes in and around the Isle of Sicily, or the volcanic Aeolian Islands just off Sicily's northern coast. These regions with their dramatic landscape and volcanic activity provided a pretty fitting backdrop for such mythological giants. Cyclopes are frequently associated with caves, and we can see that Strops is originally coming out of a cave at the start of this fight. And this is pretty fitting for beings often portrayed as wild and untamed. In Homer's Odyssey, they're described as cave-dwelling shepherds. Polyphemus in particular traps Odysseus and his crew inside his cave by rolling a massive boulder across the entrance, which acts as a door. Virgil picks up this tradition in the Aeneid. In Book 3, Aeneas encounters Polyphemus and the other Cyclopes not long after Odysseus' famous escape. Then in Book 8, we shift back to the Hesiodic Cyclopes, the divine blacksmiths. Virgil locates them in the vast caves stretching from Mount Etna to the Aeolian Islands, where they work under Hephaestus, forging weapons and tools for the gods. So I think I've got Strops pretty much on the ropes here. If I keep attacking him and he goes down, I'm wondering, will I? Not quite got him down here. So we'll hit him with another arrow. But I don't really want to take him down with an arrow. I think that's quite cheap. So there we go. R1, R2 attack. Gets him down there. That's quite nice. And hey, we get a bow. That seems pretty decent. So now that he's down, we can take a bit of a closer look at him. And we can see there, we can sort of get closer to that famous one eye that he's got. Seems like he's got some sort of fangs or something going on as well under the mouth there. So he's been a little bit stylized here by Assassin's Creed, but it looks pretty good. Okay, so let's check out the cave as well where he seemed to live. I wonder if there's any loot in here. There doesn't seem to be. But this certainly ties in with all the depictions that we get in literature, for example in the Odyssey with Polyphemus in a giant cave that he rolls the boulder over. So I finally managed to defeat Strops here. He certainly gave me a run for my money. If you've enjoyed this video, please do like, comment and subscribe, all that good stuff to try and make these videos more visible. It really does help out small creators such as myself. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll catch you all in the next one.